Hello there. If you're watching this, then we're officially meeting for the first time. I'm Andrea. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being here. I woke up this morning, made a cup of coffee, probably put too much creamer in it because black coffee and I, we're not good friends. We don't get along. Then I decided to sit here and finally record this very first YouTube video. If you and I were gonna get to do this more often, hopefully in the near future, you will quickly learn that me sitting on the floor instead of the couch or a chair, it's just simply normal for me. Yeah, I just feel more comfortable. But to give you more context, it's the end of January of 2026. I live in New England area and we are currently preparing for what's been described as a historical severe winter storm. So far, it's not snowing just yet, but it's really cold out there. Of course, I felt like today was the perfect day to try this new thing because nothing says new beginnings like recording your very first YouTube video while your area is preparing for serious weather and the possibility of power outages is very high. But that's fine. That's fine. Everything's fine. If I'm being honest, by the time I figure out how to record this properly, how to edit it, how to make the actual YouTube account, make a thumbnail and post this video, it's probably gonna go up on the channel in February, but hopefully it's still 2026. I wanted to give this YouTube thing a real try for a long time. I really think about it, it's been years, but starting new things for me brings up a lot of complicated feelings, especially when it comes to like hobbies or creative things, anything that doesn't have a strong tie to my career or anything that doesn't result in a direct financial benefit. In my family, you know, given our situation growing up, these things were seen more like a luxury, definitely not a priority. When I think about it, it kind of makes sense because for a long time there, life was about just making it to the next day. And therefore, I'm not really good at starting things, trying my hand at things just because I'm curious about them. There's always some hesitancy that comes with that. And I am trying to learn to overcome it. This is part of the reason why I'm giving this a try. But there's also benefits to growing up like that because luckily I got really good at assessing the situation, knowing my options. I pride myself for not making irrational decisions. I like to reflect. I don't rush into things and I just care deeply about doing things intentionally. You know, I've come to accept the fact that change just in general doesn't come easy for me. I just need to warm up to it. All this to say that if you've ever sat with something that you wanted to do for a really long time, I get it. But this is my very first video, so please bear with me. I just wanted us to get to know each other a little bit, you know, to talk, to share some thoughts, some opinions, maybe personal experiences, just like you and I would with a friend or a sibling. So I do hope that you treat our videos just like a real conversation, you know, with patience, with curiosity, with kindness. I'm imagining you as a guest right here in my living room, and don't worry, if you are the type of person who likes to sit on the couch, you're more than welcome to do so. I'm just really glad you're here because I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous. I'm excited too, but I'm mostly nervous. But I know that the only way to get better is to do more of this. Anyway, let's get back to this video. This video is really about how I'm closing out 2025 and how I'm getting myself a little bit more space and how I'm getting myself organized and ready for 2026. There's nothing dramatic. This is not life-changing. This is just practical, real-life things that I found helpful and I think they're worth talking about with a friend. And yes, I may not be posting this on January 1st, but I don't actually see that as an issue because in all honesty, real life doesn't reset on a specific date. And I do need a little distance from the noise that January 1st brings in general when everything feels loud and urgent and quite performative at times. I do need that space from all that before I can hear myself think. Just like Erica from the Barbie movie says, you're always free to begin again. There's no deadline here. If there's anything in this video that you find helpful, feel free to take it, adapt it, use it in your own life whenever it makes sense to you. When I do give myself the time, I immediately notice just how many open tabs I have, both in my phone and my iPad, but also in my mind. So instead of planning for the future for 2026 and making resolutions and setting up goals and working on my vision board, I thought it would be better if I take this time. Oh my God. I thought it would be better if I take this time to just like closed some of those open loops. I did start with, let's call it digital declutter. I always underestimate just how heavy digital clutter feels until I start clearing it out. There's no need to do anything dramatic here. Just start with the things that you use regularly, like your phone. On my phone, I went through all the apps. I deleted the ones that I don't actually use anymore, and then I moved the more distracting ones farther away from my homepage. Not because they're bad. I don't think an app is good or bad. It's just there's certain apps that I don't want front and center. I don't want them to be the first thing asking for my attention when I open the phone. This was also a good opportunity to start like reorganizing the home screen. So like the apps that I actually rely on, which is mostly like maps, notes, reminders, alarm. Can't live without my alarm, are front and center. On one of the pages, I even added the screen time widget. Not to judge myself, although I have a feeling that I will, but just to be aware. I mentioned earlier in the video that I tend to lean more towards the analytical side. I do like numbers. I think it makes things a little bit more tangible. If I'm thinking about making any kind of changes, I do like to analyze the situation a little bit first to understand what's happening. And I do think that screen time widget, it's gonna help. After I looked at my phone and my apps overall, I thought it was a good time to like start looking in more details at specific apps. So then I started with the email. I did have to take a look at like what's been sitting there waiting for my reply. I also look at like what can I archive, what can I delete, and what are the email lists that I can unsubscribe from. There's so many that I never sign up for. It can definitely be a perfect time to unsubscribe from them. After that, I go into photos. Photos are another form of clutter that I may not initially think about. Well, I just took a few minutes to delete blurry pictures, to pick and choose the pictures that I love. Because one thing that I truly like to do is to make photo albums. This was a great time for me to kind of pick and choose the photos that I want to print and keep in physical format forever. It was also a great opportunity to then take the remainder of the pictures and figure out where am I gonna store them, because phone storage is limited. I know some people like to put them in a cloud. Some people like to put them on memory cards. Maybe you have a physical hard drive. Regardless, I think this is a great opportunity in the beginning of the year to figure that out. I see pictures and videos as treasured memories, and they deserve some care and attention, just so we have something to come back to later. And then finally, I spend a little time with my notes app and computer files, renaming things, deleting duplicates, finding a spot for everything. Just overall, it helps me tremendously next time I open the phone or the iPad or the laptop, just to have things organized. Once my digital space felt more organized, I had the momentum and the drive to take a look at my physical space. Not to make it perfect, but just to make it easier to exist in it. I'm very aware that my environment affects me more than I like to admit. So I started with the spaces that I interact with often on a daily basis. So like my desk, the living room, my kitchen counters. I put things back where they belong. I clear the surfaces so that my eyes have a nice clean surface to rest on when I walk in the room. I also check the pantry and the fridge because there were so many things that I either forgot about or they expired, and it was just good to take a look and like clear it out, make a note of the things that we were missing, putting it on the grocery list. The car was a big one for me because I spent so much time in it due to the nature of my day job. It does become a holding space for like receipts and bags and just random stuff that I meant to deal with later. It just happened that it needed an oil change earlier in January, so after I picked it up from the dealer, spend a few more minutes and reset it. And now getting into my car, it's just so much nicer. I just feel like I'm not carrying yesterday around with me. I cleared some of the digital stuff, and reset my physical space. I thought it was a perfect opportunity to take a look at just health and wellness and do a check-in. And I'm not talking about new year, new me kind of situation, because you can probably tell that doesn't really resonate with me. We can think about it more like self-maintenance. I opened my calendar and I checked what are the pending appointments, what are some things that I definitely want to make time for, whether we're talking about like primary care visits, lab work. if I need to see any specialists. Luckily, I don't. Dentist appointments. And I've taken the time to book these and sprinkle them throughout the upcoming year because my work schedule is so unpredictable that if I don't plan ahead for these, I know for sure that I will not be able to just squeeze it in at some point, and therefore they will never get done. And if we're talking about health, I thought it was also a great time of the year to take a look in the medicine cabinet, see what medicines are expired, or maybe running low and would need a refill. Also looked at our first aid kit. We were running low on like band-aids and things that you don't want to need, but if the situation comes up, it's very nice to have them on hand. Again, none of these is about self-improvement, it's just about self-maintenance. The last area that I checked, of course, had to do with finances. I checked for any like pending bills, receipts, or loose ends that I've been avoiding of that sort. Even if I maybe can't take care of it like right this moment, just making a mental note of it or literally writing it down, it's just much better for my mental health because I don't have to like carry that with me. I have a plan in place. I look through streaming services, apps, memberships, subscriptions, and recurrent charges, actually noticing the things that I'm using and I would like to continue paying for versus the things that I either forgot I have or I haven't used in a long time. Or this time of the year, I have a lot of yearly subscriptions that are about to renew. It was a great time to just take a look at them and see if that's something I see myself using in 2026. But yes, this is how I've been wrapping up 2025, not with big resolutions, but just trying to tie some loose ends, clearing some space, and checking in with the parts of my life that need some attention. None of it is dramatic, none of it is life-changing on its own. I just find it helpful. It makes me feel just a little bit more put together, just a little bit more ready for what's coming. And maybe more than anything, none of this is about becoming a new person this new year. It's just about making life a little easier, so there's more space to notice what adds life to it. Honestly, I can't thank you enough for sitting here with me for a little bit and giving me some of your time of the day. Thank you.